Commander Zixtel of the Hegemony's Third Fleet had expected many things when he was captured by the humans. Torture, interrogation, perhaps even execution. What he hadn't expected was Captain Sarah Chen offering him coffee. "Sugar?" she asked, her voice carrying that peculiar human warmth that had puzzled xenobiologists for decades. Zixtel's four eyes studied her carefully. His species, the Kethmori, had been at war with humanity for 3 standard cycles. Every intelligence report painted humans as savage, unpredictable creatures who fought with reckless abandon. Yet here sat this small female, barely reaching his shoulder even while he remained seated, offering him a stimulant beverage as if they were old friends. "I do not understand your customs," Zixtel replied, his translator rendering his clicking speech into standard. "Why do you show kindness to your enemy?" Captain Chen smiled, that strange facial expression that involved baring teeth which should have been threatening but somehow conveyed the opposite. "Because you're not my enemy right now. You're my guest. I am your prisoner. Details." She waved her hand dismissively. "You're hurt, you're far from home, and you're probably scared. Coffee helps with at least 2 of those things." Zixtel accepted the steaming cup, more out of curiosity than thirst. The liquid was bitter, complex, strangely comforting. As he drank, he noticed something troubling about his surroundings. The human ship seemed small, cramped even, nothing like the massive warships the Kethmori intelligence had described. "Captain Chen," he began carefully, "I must ask, is this truly the flagship of your fleet?" Her smile widened. "Oh, the relentless, no. This is just a scout ship. We were on a routine patrol when we picked up your distress beacon." "Distress beacon?" Zixtel's mandibles clicked in confusion. "But my vessel was destroyed in battle. By a meteor shower, according to our scans. Pretty unlucky, honestly. Your ship's hull couldn't handle the impact debris." She leaned back in her chair. "Though I have to say, your emergency systems are impressive. That survival pod kept you alive for 6 days. 6 days. Zixtel's time sense had been distorted by his ordeal, but now the pieces fell into place. His battlecruiser hadn't been destroyed by human weapons. It had been a freak accident, a 1-in-a-million chance encounter with a rogue asteroid field. The humans hadn't even known he was there until his automated beacon started broadcasting. "You rescued me. Standard protocol," Captain Chen said, sipping her own coffee. "Any sentient in distress gets picked up, regardless of species or political affiliation. It's just what we do." Zixtel set down his cup with trembling claws. 3 years of war, and this was his first real interaction with humanity. Every Kethmori soldier knew the stories. Humans who fought like demons, who never surrendered, who turned entire star systems into graveyards rather than yield an inch of space. Yet this woman spoke of rescue protocols and offered him comfort. "Captain," he said slowly, "my people believe humans are monsters, that you are a plague upon the galaxy, expanding without thought or mercy." Something flickered in Chen's eyes. Not anger, but sadness. "And what do you believe, Commander?" Before Zixtel could answer, the ship's communication system crackled to life. "Captain, we're receiving a priority transmission from Fleet Command. The Kethmori have agreed to peace negotiations." Chen's eyebrows rose. "Well, that's unexpected. Any word on terms?" "They're requesting complete withdrawal from the disputed sectors. Apparently, their long-range scouts reported something that changed their perspective on the conflict." Zixtel felt his blood freeze. Long-range scouts. The deep reconnaissance missions his government had been running for months, probing human space for weaknesses. What could they have possibly seen that would— "Commander," Captain Chen said gently, "you look like you've seen a ghost. What do you know about your scouts?" They were sent to map your military installations, to find your shipyards, your fleet concentrations." His voice dropped to a whisper. "What did they find?" Chen was quiet for a long moment, then activated a holographic display. The image that materialized made Zixtel's 4 hearts skip in unison. It showed the Sol system, humanity's birth world in the heart of their territory. But it wasn't the planet that stole his breath. It was everything else. Ships. Thousands upon thousands of ships, arranged in perfect formations that stretched from Mercury's orbit to the Kuiper Belt. Not just warships, but massive construction platforms, mobile shipyards the size of moons, defensive stations that dwarfed anything in Kethmori space. The fleet was so vast that it created its own gravitational effects, a steel constellation orbiting Sol like a protective shell. "This is Zixtal couldn't finish the sentence. Our home fleet, Chen said simply. What your scouts saw. What they reported back to your high command. The scale was incomprehensible. The entire Kethamori military could barely field 3,000 vessels of all classes. This single system contained what looked like 50 times that number, and these were just the ships visible to long-range sensors. But the war, Zixtal stammered. We've been fighting for 3 years. Your forces in our territory are about 2% of our actual military, Chen finished. Commander, do you know why humans fight so hard for every system, why we never retreat? Zixtal shook his head, unable to speak. Because we don't want to fight at all. Every battle we win in your space is one less battle we have to fight in someone else's. Every system we hold at the border is a system that never sees war. She leaned forward, her expression earnest. We could have ended this conflict in the first week. We have the ships, the firepower, the industrial capacity, but that would have meant genocide for your people. The truth hit Zixtal like a physical blow. Humanity hadn't been struggling to survive against the Kethamori onslaught. They had been showing restraint. Extraordinary, almost incomprehensible restraint. Your high command saw this display, Chen continued, gesturing to the hologram. And they realized what we've been trying to tell them through 3 years of limited warfare. We don't want to be your enemies. Zixtal stared at the image, at the casual demonstration of power that could have swept his entire civilization from the stars. Then he looked at the human woman sitting across from him, still holding her coffee cup, still wearing that gentle smile. Why? He whispered. Why show such mercy to those who sought to destroy you? Captain Chen's smile grew wider, and for the first time Zixtal understood what it truly meant. It wasn't a display of aggression or dominance. It was something far more powerful and far more dangerous to those who chose to be humanity's enemies. It was hope. Because, she said, we'd rather have friends than victories. And sometimes, Commander, the strongest thing you can do is choose not to use your strength. As peace negotiations began across the galaxy, Zixtal would remember that moment. The moment when he realized that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their hidden fleet or their industrial might. It was their capacity to smile at their enemies and offer them coffee instead of chains. It was perhaps the most terrifying and wonderful discovery in Kethamori history,